Our story today takes us to the Amazon Ring doorbell, a very popular device in the United States where people have this on their homes and apartments so that they have ability to see what's happening outside their house and communicate to people outside their house via the doorbell. Has a little speaker on it and microphone so they can hear and talk. Also very helpful in particular for catching people who are stealing packages, and also very popular with the police, of course, because it gives them a surveillance tool that isn't subject to normal Fourth Amendment concerns. Because if it's not your camera, you don't have a Fourth Amendment concern, right? So if they're trying to find something happening out in the world that isn't about you, but just about a thief in general, right? The thief doesn't have a Fourth Amendment interest in someone else's camera, so they can't bring a suppression hearing relating to someone else's camera because it doesn't really matter how the police came into that information. Even if it came into it illegally, it didn't concern you. So very popular for a whole bunch of reasons. Also, sometimes people use these kinds of devices inside the home for monitoring things going inside the home as well. Well, regardless of how you use these devices, Amazon is paying a $6 million settlement to the FTC that dealt with employees and third-party contractors having unrestricted access to videos of people's homes so that people who worked for the company could just see whatever cameras they liked inside your home, outside your home, of anything that might pass their fancy or their interest, perhaps of a more adult nature. Maybe it's some of the things they were looking for. And Amazon is like, oh, yeah, we probably violated our consumers' privacy and lied to them a little bit about how we were dealing with their data. So we have to pay a settlement. Let's learn a little bit more about this settlement. The Amazon-owned smart doorbell ring company has agreed to settle a lawsuit brought by the Federal Trade Commission relating to privacy and data security. Ring will pay $6 million, which of course to Amazon is a rounding error. Do they even notice? I'm sure it's just a loose change they found in their sofa cushions at their corporate headquarters, but we'll pretend like it makes a difference. They will pay $6 million to the FTC and implement a new system for data security as part of the settlement. I already feel more assured. I already am feeling like my data is going to be taken much more seriously because maybe next time Amazon will have to pay $12 million. Ooh. The surveillance company, which was acquired by Amazon in 2018 at what was at the time a $1 billion deal, and of course is worth more than that now, is used by millions as a form of security. But of course, the FTC says employees had unrestricted access to the footage. So Ring wasn't always an Amazon company. It was acquired by Amazon, and they have gone on to great success with the devices, and people are able to just use them whenever they want, willy-nilly, no problem. A Ring spokesperson said that Ring addressed these issues on its own years ago, well before the FTC began our inquiry. We're not sure what the FTC was concerned about. We solved this problem long ago. Why are they all up in our hair? While we disagree with the allegations to deny violating the law, the settlement resolves this matter so we can focus on innovating on behalf of our customers. Query exactly who their customers are in this scenario. Are their customers the people they sell the doorbells to, or do they have other different customers? Who exactly is the customer is a good question. In one instance, a Ring employee viewed thousands of recordings from at least 81 cameras owned by women. Only after a supervisor noticed that the male employee was viewing videos of only pretty girls did the supervisor escalate the report of misconduct. Only at that point did Ring review a portion of the employee's activity and ultimately terminate the employment. So yeah, perhaps unsurprisingly, some people are looking for, people that attract their fancy or people doing perhaps misdeeds that are not necessarily illegal or, maybe a little bit salacious. And, some people got caught up on this. Yeah. The FTC further alleged that employees of third-party contractors who happened to be working in Ukraine also had access to company footage with little restrictions. So just not sharing our data with our US partners. How about just anywhere in the world? This isn't necessarily the ones we caught were in Ukraine. Was this a Ukraine problem? Absolutely not. But we will pretend like it was. Because of course it's the same problem everywhere. In 2022, a US Senator probe found evidence that Amazon was handing over footage to police without consent of owners of the cameras, which isn't necessarily illegal, of course, but might violate the privacy guarantees that Amazon or Ring made to the customer. So, not necessarily disclosing to the customer that we're sharing all this wonderful, wonderful information with law enforcement. Law enforcement loves it because there's no Fourth Amendment issues. It might violate the customer's privacy. So, the customer might have a lawsuit against Amazon, but the customer has no complaint against the police. And the person who the evidence is used against has no complaint because they have no privacy interest. Of course, this is assuming that the camera isn't capturing them in their own home or in their own yard or in their own place, right? So we're assuming in this scenario that it's some third person's camera, which of course is way, way more typical. But if it's just a random person's camera, if it's not your camera and they're capturing you in a place that you don't have an expectation of privacy, which is basically everywhere in the world but your home, pretty much, then you don't have any complaint. Amazon over here says we'll continue to prioritize privacy, security, and user control as we pursue and improve technologies to help achieve our mission of making neighborhoods safer and also gaining data and also monitoring our users and also figuring out how people interact in the world so we can sell to them better and other things too. But also safety. That's what we'll sell it on. Think of the children, and we won't tell you about the other part. Okay, that's just all super. Thus, that brings us to Amazon having to pay $6 million. And Amazon's over here like, will you take loose change that we found in our sofas at our corporate headquarters? Because Amazon is $1 trillion company. And $1 million is a millionth of a trillion. So it's not very much money. It would be like less than a cent to you and me, right? I'm assuming in this scenario that none of us are multiple millionaires. But hey, if you are a millionaire, this would be like $1 to you, right? Or maybe like $3 to you. Ooh, right? So if you're a millionaire, this is like $3 to you. If not, then maybe a couple pennies. So Amazon probably isn't sweating it very much, but it's okay, people. They've made reforms, and you can trust in those reforms because if we didn't make the reforms, we might have to pay more next time. And maybe next time it won't just have to be the couch cushions. Maybe next time we'll have to go to the change drawer and the little bowl that we keep changing in purpose and get the money from there. So we are definitely making the reforms over here in Amazon. And that for the moment brings us to the end of discussion of this story.